The speech I chose to talk about is Malcolm X The Ballot or the Bullet. Due to the speech taking place in 1964, I believe April 2nd of 1964, I was unable to watch the speech. I was only able to listen to it. There was a list of over 99 different speeches to choose from, and none of them piqued my interest at all. Maybe it's because I was born in 1987, but I was not interested in listening or watching or reading any of them. But I know I had to choose one, so after looking down the list, I chose The Ballot or the Bullet only because I am African American and I have always considered Malcolm X to be some sort of racist that hates white people, and I was never interested in reading, watching his biography or anything. He never piqued my interest, and I just wasn't interested in anything he had to say. I guess for many years I've lived a naive lifestyle because I went to a predominantly white school. My best friend of 15 years is a white female, and I was never treated unfairly by her parents when I would sleep over. I would go to family functions, and no one treated me badly. Well, now that I am an adult, I have definitely experienced racism firsthand. So I guess that's what kind of piqued my interest to read The Ballad of the or the Bullet because I still considered him to be a racist. In Malcolm's speech, he made many valid points that I was never interested about in my early years. Malcolm would gather black people together, and he had a rally on April 3rd, 1964 is when he really did the Ballad or the Bullet speech. And he wanted black people to come together as one. While listening to the speech, Malcolm spoke about how the government was not established to help African Americans, yet they were there to divide, hurt, and kill the black people. Malcolm stated that he did not want to talk about his Islamic faith because if he talked about his Islamic faith, then they would never come together for the good cause of uniting as one black community to fight back against the government and the racism that was going on. Malcolm stated that he was Islamic and that even though he was Islamic, there were many people in that building that were Christians, Baptists, Methodists, and he didn't want their faiths to divide them, so he chose not to talk about religion at all. But he put that out there that he was not going to speak on any religious beliefs. The main purpose of this speech that I got from this speech was he wanted people to know that they weren't anti-white, they just were pro-black. He wanted what was rightfully due to the black people or just wanted them to be treated correctly. The blacks were instructed that the government was going to different countries to help underprivileged countries and people when there were over 22 million blacks in America that were mistreated and their churches were being burned and their wives and daughters were being killed and raped. In his speech, he also warned the people of color that they needed to stop singing and start swinging, which was hilarious to me. And I think that's one of his nonverbal cues that helped his audience and kept his audience actively involved and wanting to participate was because he would use something that they were actively doing and pretty much use that against them to show them that that's not working. They needed to change their way of work. They need to start to fight to use violence and force. And he mentioned how Cassius Clay, which is known as Muhammad Ali to me, I'd have to search to see who Cassius Clay. He did not become heavyweight champion of the world by not knocking people out. He had to use force in order to become that heavyweight champion of the world that he was. He was not afraid to go to jail. And if going to jail meant that he was taking a stand and showing more black people that they needed to take a stand, then so be it. He was willing to take that risk. And he wanted others to follow along to show that they were willing to take that risk for the better cause of what they believed in. The listening challenges that I experienced is while listening to this speech, I was hearing my children talk, I was hearing my husband talk, and while the speech was playing, the audio was not as clear as it could have been, being that it was recorded in 1964 and it's 2016 now. Another issue was I had to frequently pause it because of other distractions, so I couldn't give it my undivided attention at all times. The only task that I can do without effectively affecting my listening skills is watching The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. It gets my undivided attention. Favorite show of all time. But other than watching The Walking Dead, I know that I can type and listen. So if you're telling me something, I can type it, pretty much type a transcript while you're speaking, and I won't lose any